Vermeer designs his paintings so brilliantly, so carefully, that every part of the painting, every drop of paint, every line, every nuance of colour has a deliberate meaning.
In the original Vermeer, the music lesson, painted sometime around the mid-1660s, there's a well-known Latin phrase on the lid of the virginal, which is a simple form of harpsichord. Musica laetitia comes medicina dolorum. Music is a companion to joy and a medicine for pain. But the artist has hidden certain letters behind the young lady playing the instrument. Why? When we compare the original Vermeer lettering with inventor Tim Jennison's, we see he's been as faithful as humanly possible in his brilliant reproduction of this masterpiece. I'm going to line up these red markers so we can see the dimensional ratio is true to the original. Now, granted, the U of Dolorum is showing in Tim's version, but we can't really blame his daughter Claire, who valiantly posed for hours in service of her dad's obsession. It's tough being a Renaissance model. So you see this final S of Comes. Here's another view from the documentary off-center, revealing that Tim knew this S is actually showing in the original Vermeer. I'll move it so you can see it, right? Which suggests the spacing between the letters, it's called kerning in the industry, should be like this, but then the CO is off compared to the rest of the word. And that calls into question all the kerning in the entire phrase that Vermeer painted. It simply makes no sense. I mean, an artist who goes to such enormous lengths to get every minute detail of his masterpiece perfect cannot have made such an elementary mistake. It ignores all the laws of balance and design prevalent at the time. Obviously, the lettering, equally spaced, should look like this. Here are some examples of that same phrase on virginals that observe those basic rules. The same phrase there. Here are other phrases of the time equally perfectly spaced. And this is not hard to comprehend. It's design 101. This one's a genuine original from the period built by Andreas Ruckers, the assumed creator of Vermeer's. Here's his nameplate, perfectly kerned and balanced. So why does Vermeer commit such a blunder? There can only be one reason. It's intentional. It means something. Those letters that are not seen were hidden for a reason, and the words the artist has thus partially hidden have been changed to reveal something else. It's my suspicion, therefore, that Vermeer, master of detail that he was, couldn't resist confessing to the world in this one mistake how he did it. The phrase is in Latin, so it's reasonable to assume the solution he's simultaneously hiding and revealing is also in that tongue. Meum means my or mine. A simple transposition of the first letters, D and C, reveals color. No mystery there, it's Latin for colour. Dos means talent or quality. It even has the word dower, meaning a gift to the world of your talent, your quality. So my colour quality, isn't that the central question concerning the Vermeer enigma? No paper trail documenting his training, no mentors, no patrons. He just appears out of nowhere. Is he giving us a clue as to how he achieves his colour quality? If so, that's an incomplete statement. My colour quality what? How? Tell us. He's isolated 12 letters. Surely they contain more than this. Dolossum. Me means I. Now, dolossum means crafty, cunning, even deceitful. Further down the list, the common translation of this is trickery. But then, Core tells us it's from the heart and his intellect. Sure, he's saying I engage in intellectual trickery, but it's from my heart. So what was going on at this seminal time in history? In 1619, 13 years before Vermeer's birth, Christoph Scheiner's work, Oculus Hoc Est, was published, containing new insights into the physiological nature of the eye and the geometry of light. Optical technology was all the rage, and by 1663, when it is supposed Vermeer painted the music lesson, James Gregory was already using concave mirrors in the first reflecting telescopes. Look at the pictures on this cover of Scheiner's work. It's all about camera obscura, the light that you can then see on the wall inside a cave in this depiction. This guy here is adding a lens. Oculus.
That's really what I set out to prove, is that it could have been done that way.
Sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
There's no way that it proves that Vermeer did.
That's the second question, obviously, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't prove it yet. But oculos means eyes. And memor means mindful, unforgetting. De, about, according to, about unforgetting eyes. It's about preserving an accurate record of how it looks. Now we all know where this is leading. We all know. It's leading to mirrors, isn't it? And we happen to know that the Latin for mirrors is speculorum. Did you know where that derives from? Specu. What does specu mean in Latin? It means cave. The allegory of the cave, propounded by the Greek philosopher Plato, describes a group of prisoners who have lived their entire lives chained immobile to the wall of a cave. Situated behind their backs is a fire, and the light of the fire behind these objects projects shadows on the wall in front of the prisoners. That's the origin of the whole idea of camera obscura, isn't it? It's a cave, as illustrated on this cover of Scheiner's work. So what's left after we've connected specu with lorum, which means mirrors? We have dome. It's from the Latin domus. It literally means the house of God. But a dome is a concavity, yes? It's concave. Con means with, cave means to be careful, with care. You can have a very slight concavity, or you can have the ultimate concavity, which is, say, half of a sphere, the heavens above us. But there's a very deep philosophical meaning in all of this that references the cave, specu, with lorum. Lorum literally means a leash or a strap or reins. It means to be tied to the cave. The ultimate meaning of Plato's allegory of the cave. We're tied to this imprisonment within the house of God. By what? The cave, the house of God, it is all an allegory for the mathematics of creation. Concave mirrors, yes, but with care. Vermeer's work expresses nothing if not the love, the care that has gone into it, the attention to detail. The final word in this beautiful metaphor that he's left for us is strange. It's cos. It seems like a stretch at first, but cos, meaning cosine, was understood by Euclid. He didn't use the name cosine. It wasn't in use at that time, but it meant the mathematics of trigonometry. Adjacent over hypotenuse is the cosine. Well, it turns out that abbreviation, cos, was in use. The origin of the cosine, 1625 to 35, 30 years before Vermeer was painting the music lesson. It was known. He's talking about trigonometry, the mathematics involved in creating all of this. And that's what he's using, isn't it? He's literally telling us that. Look at the perspective line here, going from the tiles at the bottom left, points perfectly to the corner of the nameplate board of the virginal. And the windows here, and the beams up here, all converging on this point, the brightest point on the lady's outfit, where the light is shining. It's all about the light. This is the point of convergence that he's drawing us to. Even the brightest point on the carpet on the table. Here, this corner. Following the line of the table, the line of the fold of the carpet, and the line on this side of the table points precisely again to that same point. It's all about the light and the mathematics and the trigonometry of that light, how he works it out. Look at what's happening here. The man, presumably the music teacher, is looking straight at her, but she's looking down at the keyboard. But look in the mirror, her head is turned towards him. She's looking back at him. Again, a sly hint at triangles, the trigonometry of the light, of knowing how you do all this. In fact, he has to know the angle of that mirror on the wall in order to draw a perpendicular to it, to get the top of her head angle to the mirror that's going to reflect back here to the artist at his easel, if indeed the artist is even using an easel, of course. It's all mathematical. It's all about the optics of light. And he's showing us that. He's telling us. All that in 12 individual letters that come together to create a host of anagrams that all specifically reference what he's doing. My color quality, intellectual trickery, but from the heart, about unforgetting eyes, leaving an accurate record of exactly how the light and the color looked in this room, using concave mirrors with care and the mathematics of trigonometry. And regarding those first 3 words that he highlights by this subterfuge, 3, 4, 5 letters, is he perhaps giving us another hint about Pythagorean theory? Maybe. Could it be that the rather unusual garment the lady is wearing has the Greek letter Psi on it, referencing Poseidon and his trident, god of the sea, god of horses? The only way they thought of light back then was as waves. Maybe every little detail of what he's showing us is telling us something.
Vermeer's masterwork, The Music Lesson, clearly shows that nothing is left to chance. This is one of the most refined of Vermeer's works. He carefully calculated every aspect of its composition. The figures, the musical instruments, the mirror, table, tile patches and chairs, however realistically presented, are conceived as interlocking patterns of color and shape.
It's a message to us.
It's naive to think you'll find something.
Not really, just like the house of God, the cave. It's all done with mirrors.